Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Ultimate General American Revolution, an early access game by Game Labs. Now, in our last video for the series, I said the series was over because we had come to the conclusion of the early access game, and that was true as of, like 3 days ago? However, literally the very next day, Game Labs released a new update which expanded the campaign from August 12th, I believe, of 1776 all the way into 1777, reflecting the addition of the New York campaign. So presumably this map is going to expand south, and we will be able to, get to the city of New York. It does say that, this campaign is covering a period where Admiral and General Howe had at their disposal roughly 30,000 troops, and they added Hessians to the game. Now, I think we've seen like indications of Hessians in the game. I swear we've seen some of their like funky hat things, but apparently they are proper unit types now, and they've made a number of tactical battle updates and AI updates as well. So that should be interesting to see. As you may recall, after our last battle, we won, I guess, what could be considered a Pyrrhic victory at Fort Halifax. We defeated the garrison there very bloodily, inflicting very heavy casualties on us, but we lost heavy casualties as well. We have 3 regiments in the north with Benedict Arnold. We've decided to send one of those regiments west to Lyman, because if we are going to expand to the New York campaign, I would assume there's going to be a seaborne invasion coming. We're going to have to try as best we can to contain the British in North America with a series of garrisons here to prevent their being tempted to advance out against us, while we shift the bulk of our forces against wherever the British may come at us. Now, we do not have a ton of troops. We've got 2,800 troops here at Falmouth in some seriously depleted regiments. We also have, like I said, we had 3 regiments of about 1,200 men with Arnold, but those are our field forces. We do have a considerable number of men garrisoning Canada, because as you recall, we took Canada. So we've got, 900 troops north of the St. Lawrence River. We have about 1,300, almost 1,400 troops south of the river, with an additional 450 troops in Burlington, New York along the border. So all told, this is 1,800 plus 9. We've got about 2,700 troops here in the north, but they're all kind of tied down in garrison duty, which would be real nice to have 2,700 troops if we could add to our 2,800 here and then have a force of 4,500 and add another 1,000 from Arnold. You start getting into respectable numbers before you even consider what you might be able to raise new. We don't have a ton of money to raise new troops. We also have no officers. So what I have done is I have spent 15 prestige-ish to recruit low-rank officers at the end of the day, and also raise funds so that we can try to keep the army going and reinforce from a lot of the casualties we've taken. Boston's recruiting a decent chunk of soldiers. We are sending a regiment south there to recuperate. But if they're really coming for New York and they're coming hot and heavy, we're going to be in a world of hurt. This was probably the biggest example of Washington not, being a bit in over his depth, the New York campaign. It was not a pretty show. The British came with overwhelming force, and fortunately for America, they were not as aggressive in pursuit as perhaps they could have been. They didn't really take the Americans super seriously. And while they routed them handily on the battlefield, they allowed the Americans to escape. And that would lead to the winter campaign of 1776 at Trenton and Princeton, where Washington would win a pair of victories that would kind of hold the revolution in the northern states over for a while. With that being said, let's go ahead and hit play. I think events trigger on the 11th, or maybe the 12th. Probably the 12th, because that's what the thing said, was the campaign ends on the 12th, or used to end on the 12th. Hopefully, the other thing I don't know is if they're reworking the AI at all. We know the enemy's got like 10,000 troops between Halifax, Frank, and George. They could easily push out and expand and, seriously threaten us if they wanted to. Oh, by the way, so we got the refill textiles complete. Well, that was before. But then we just got the raising funds, which didn't really meaningfully change our money because we probably spent most of that money. And then low-ranking officers. So we've got 18 officers. So now we've got 2 project slots open. We had been working on Minutemen skills. Honestly, what we probably should be doing is looking at expanding our general slot. Army limit goes up here, but I don't see general limits down here, the Eastern Department. Because we do have another general. We've got Henry Knox, the artillery general, who could be assigned to a command, but right now we have a limit of 2 commanders, 2 armies right now. But I guess let's work on the Minuteman thing, because we're already working on that. And then the chief engineer will work on fortification principles, +3 construction speed and 3 production. Does cost a little bit of ammo, but we're already well on the way to that. Okay, I really do need to start building out the economy too. I just don't have a ton of cash to do it. Boston. The other problem here is that, like, buildings get kind of maxed out. Cities get maxed out. You've only got the 5 slots to build in. Just kind of silly to have Boston have the same number of building limits as, like, Leicester. But, okay. So what can we build in Leicester here? Not too worried about the loyalty. Textiles are decent, but they really don't add that much. Horse production. If we ever want to build some frickin' cavalry, more horses would be good. Recruits also good. I don't have anything else. I thought we had, maybe this particular location just can't build any, like, textile mills or cigar factories or things like that, because it is region based. So I suppose we'll just do horse. Spend $500, build horses. Providence, meanwhile, decent little capital here. I'm looking at, like, production value. Like, any city that has over 1, I'd consider building in. So Hartford can actually upgrade the blacksmith house, which increases production factory by 0.5. But it's already built out, so it's like construction points increases the output of production buildings. So it'll increase the output of textiles and horses. Horse pasture, it's already producing 5. That's a nice chunk. I don't want to spell it. I don't have 1,200 to spend right now. What about Hatfield? You got stuff, right? You can build horses. Loyalty, not too much of a concern there. Where are the other places that have construction? Like, oh, New Haven. Okay, so New Haven can definitely produce a big chunk of, it can build quickly. It's got a big chunk of production. It's not really a place where you're going to build a lot of stuff, though. You can see no buildings available to us. I scroll the mouse wheel. I can't, it's just like loyalty or provisions or ammo storage. Produces construction materials. So construction materials, I suppose, which can be useful for building things. Shipyard, we already have. Yeah. So not great situations here from a, hey, make your economy better type deal. Some of these places have decent, like, fur trading, right? Fur trading can bring in a bunch of money. So, like, fur trader houses here, but we don't have enough construction points to make that happen quickly. Also, some of these places are in the process of repairing damage from when the battles occurred there. We already have a fur trader house there. So, yeah. What about Canada? What's up in Canada? Hopefully they don't ever retake it from us, but Troy River says 1.1. Montreal has 0.9. Chambly 0.5. St. John's 0.3. Burlington 0.1. So we do have some capacity here. They also can produce furs. Furs are lucrative, so that's something to consider. Also, the other thing we probably also want to look at doing is investing in production of, like, agriculture, which increases the production of provisions, which we don't have a ton of. Production of what factories are necessary for developing production change. Each factory adds 1 production point. Shipbuilding, mines are very useful. They produce things like iron and coal and things you need. But again, I don't have the cash right now to do that, so we'll hold off. We're building the 1 building, and let's see what happens here on the next day. Meanwhile, the Royal Navy, very strong off the coast, you know, as usual. Our intersea commerce is having trouble. There's only one ship there. Does it make sense to try and go at him with 2? I'm always surprised that Boston... a fisherman reports information about the British troops sailing toward the shores of Portsmouth. So they may try and land at Portsmouth here, down near Boston, to the south of our forces at Falmouth. Which to me says we need to get our troops out of Falmouth. So let's do that. These 2 regiments are actually at full strength. They just don't have a lot of companies. So we'll leave maybe one of them behind. I do need the artillery though. So we'll take some of these these understrength companies with us. All right. I'm not going to bring my whole force because I'm a little nervous about inviting the 10,000 troops up north against us. We're going to merge. A lot of raiding of commerce in near Salem and Boston. Right, we got 1 brigade there. Form a 2nd brigade here. Do we really want to leave 900 troops behind, though? That seems like a lot. I'd rather pull 400 militia in. Militia, to me, feel ideally suited for garrison work. I just don't have enough troops here to raise anybody new. We're going to form an army. We got about 2,000 men with yours truly. Oh, shit. They got 6,600 troops coming in on this invasion. I don't recognize the character, but it's another general in another British army. They've already got 2 generals up here. Did we destroy Gage? Or did he retreat somewhere and now he's not like a commander of note? Also, probably doesn't make a ton of sense to leave Benedict Arnold up here all by his lonesome. We also should really pull some. I've left the provision wagons here mainly because I'm trying to keep the troops in Norwich supplied because they're not on a direct supply line. Like if we go back to the the supply line map, you can see here they don't have a line to them, so they are not directly in supply. We could pull out of Norwich and pull back to Quebec. It could make some sense, but then that puts Quebec on the front lines of any thrust, which I'm not interested in doing at this time. So anyway. All right, let's move to Portsmouth first. I don't think there's any way I can hold out against 6,000 men with just 2,000, even 2,500. The troops at Boston, Salem, they'd add another 1,200. So that would give me 12 plus 25. So 3,700. Still not really. What is a supply ship doing up here? Like, where are you guys going? There's no ports to go to. That really doesn't put me in a position to compete with anything that might throw at me. So we may have to... Portsmouth is the capital of New Hampshire, which sucks because capitals give you big production bonuses and things like that. It will also, frankly, cut off Falmouth, right? No, Falmouth can still draw supply from Lyman. Oh, shoot. So do I pull the extra 800 men out? It puts Lyman on the front lines. But I'm going to need to garrison Lovell and Stevens if I evacuate Portsmouth. Oh, this is not pretty. Not a good situation to be in. Hey, I got more money. Where did that come from? Oh, wait, the map expanded, didn't it? It did. Oh, boy. All right, so with the 12th of August, we also expand the map considerably. So there's British troops at Fort Augusta here in the south, and then there's also sort of frontier garrisons at Sullivan, Hermiker, and Stanwick. That puts Saratoga and Albany back on the front line, which means they probably need to be garrisoned. Also, there must be a new rule about raising troops where you have low loyalty numbers, because I can't raise troops in places in Canada anymore, despite the surplus of recruits, due to low loyalty. And apparently with the new units that I was given with the expanded map, so the garrisons at Morristown, Easton, Hempstead, and New York, I can't raise any more troops at all because now I'm over my cap, my unit cap. So the British could bring troops from Fort Clinton or Penn north to take the interior of my lines with almost no resistance. Great. What do we do? All right. We're going to need to have some flexibility in the West because Western Canada was not. This is part of the problem with the way the map expands. Is it's like, oh, now you have to worry about threats that you didn't have to worry about before in a kind of silly fashion. All right. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to pull out of Norwich. We're going to abandon this. It's mostly just for keeping troops out of Canada. We're going to pull these boys back to Quebec. Once we get there, we're going to send Arnold down to Montreal or St. John's. It'll free up 2 units potentially to be field mobile. They can still draw reserves from Quebec despite the low loyalty, so they can strengthen their units up to full strength. And then we can have 2 units that can move south, replace the garrisons in Montreal and St. John's, slide 2 garrisons south to Ticonderoga and Saratoga, or Albany and Saratoga, and block an eastern advance from the British. I'm assuming they don't have large field forces there, so maybe they will be hesitant to move, but we do need some garrisons there. Meanwhile, that'll shorten our lines there. We are going to pull out of Falmouth as well. We're going to take the 360 troops that were sort of sticking around. We're going to put them into Lyman to strengthen the garrison there from any advance from these cities, or maybe we'll move them to Lovell. We'll bring the other 500 troops out and have them join the march south to Portsmouth. I don't know if I can get there before the British, so this may trigger a battle I don't want to have. Question is where the British going to land. They are moving considerable forces west. So something happened with the AI where they're like, hey, we've got an advantage now. In the past, they were very passive. And now they've decided they can actually push on me in multiple places. These guys are all going to join the garrison there. The enemy's going to land. I wonder if they'll move north toward Falmouth. Or maybe they're going after Ziegler. I don't know. Yeah, so they're going to move north, actually, to go take the unoccupied city of Falmouth, which I am okay with. Some of them are moving west toward Lovell. This may pose an opportunity here. General Byron is in command by the looks of it. If they're going to send a considerable number of troops north, I might be able to isolate a portion of their army and defeat it. Okay. Not enough weapons, wagons, guns, or muskets. What kind of muskets are you guys using? Well, that's the problem. You're using Charlevilles, which I do not have in stock. So that should solve your musket issues. These guys should have weapons in stock for all of their weapons now. They do. don't know about the wagon thing. I don't know where that came from. If we go back to the goods here, we had 3 wagons available. Looks like they're gone now. Must have used them up. All right. Okay, so let's do this. Let's wait here for a second, see if these troops keep marching away from the boys headed to Falmouth. And now, I think that's a good enough separation while they move in to take Falmouth. British landing in New York. Led by General William Howe, a significant British force sailed to Staten Island in New York Harbor. The landing will mark the beginning of a large-scale British military campaign aimed at capturing New York City and gaining control of strategic points in the region. Where in New York are they landing? Did they already land? Or are they on the way? I'm assuming that means they're on the way. Meanwhile, we're like busy fighting up here in the north. All right, let's... All right, we're going to move these guys to try and intercept these troops moving away from Falmouth. 1,600 troops. It's like something triggered with the AI where they're just like, everybody advance and fight now, which kind of sucks, frankly. It's like I built my whole... I know it's early access. This is kind of stuff that happens, but it's just kind of frustrating. All right, let's do this. So we are moving in to hit the British force moving west. There's a battle going on here between like 2,000 British and like 300 troops trying to retreat toward Lyman. But it looks like we've got a battle here of 12, 13, 19, 25, 26, 3,200 troops versus my smaller force. We will try. We're outnumbered, but we might as well make a go of it. This is the best chance we've got of hitting an isolated portion of their army. Maybe we can hold up. Otherwise, I'm going to have to like... Oh, God, that's a lot of boys. All right, so what's our position here? We're going to form these guys up into divisions. Okay. We do have some ammo and some wagons back here. So the enemy's going to advance on us. I don't like my position here. Like there's a little bit. I guess the wheat fields do provide cover. Interesting. Okay. Maybe we just hold in our current positions. There does look like a decent amount of cover for some of these troops. The problem is they're going to probably be able to easily flank us, but let's do this. Let's put these two... Well, these guys are merging, aren't they? They're going to merge into one unit. All right. We may have to quickly pull back as the enemy comes on top of us, but I don't see a great forest behind us to, like, hit them when they're in the open. Also, the enemy is going to be in cover, too. What is this? I don't like that. All right, here they come. Let's do this. You're going to pull back. We're going to form a new line. I don't know that, like, how much cover does the forest or the field actually provide? Apparently buildings don't provide cover, which is interesting. Just, how about, let's do this. Can I? So we got is this just a division of artillery? This map sucks for defensive. Oh, we got some reinforcements coming too. Okay, let's try this. Artillery batteries. I think you're all artillery. From up here in this wood line. Infantry, pull back. Just everybody pull back. Let's get out of there. It's going to take him some time to come up, I think. A is not usually the most aggressive at pursuing. So we will pull all our troops off these objectives because they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. While our reinforcements come up. Let's get you boys into some cover. You three regiments form up here in this wood line. Your companies are going to form up here with one in kind of the open. You'll form here. Your artillery will form here in the center. All right. I'm assuming the enemy will pursue us to here. I'm trying to put our wagons and supplies in this line back here as kind of a reserve. We got some reinforcements coming up on the map over here, so we're going to move them to join the main body of our force. They're a little exposed here. The enemy could try and sneak up on them. Is there a battery down here? It looks like there's a battery of artillery. Strange. All right, the enemy is going to try and go around our flank, I will expect. Oh, wait, where are these guys going? Let's form a bit of a salient here to refuse our flank. These guys can form up behind. Form up a bit of a reserve. All right, we got our artillery hitting them in the open as they kind of come up. These two units are going to merge. Okay. Get out of there. God damn it. Well, there goes our supply, boys. Why are they not merging? Go get that wagon. Maybe I can't now because they merged. Well, you got good cover there. You're kind of outnumbered, but it is what it is. Everybody hold your lines. We've got some troops in very good cover in this wood line, and we got some troops not so much. All right, we'll form a reserve with some of these other units. Extend the flank. You'll be in the open, but you got to do it. Trying to go around our right flank. Ammo wagons, you're going to quickly deplete your ammo. Get out of there. Pull back to the rear. Okay, so we got some troops with some very nice cover values. We've got artillery pouring into the flank of the enemy up here near the center. The enemy's bringing some of their arty forward. Left flank, the cover's not as pretty. We still got some. But we've got some nice big double units. Basically companies merged. All with decent weapons. Pretty much. I'm assuming the enemy's conditioning isn't great either. But we do have a few situations where we've got troops in a bit of a salient, a bit of a tricky spot, so we'll have to see how things play out. We don't all have the cleanest firing lines. Okay, so we're driving some of them back. We might be able to prevent a rout here. I don't know that we're gonna like do as much damage as I would like. All right, they're charging into us. Get a reserve company up here. These guys were shattered. They charged at us, but they didn't melee. Well, now they're going to melee. They waited for us to fire another volley. Friendly fire. Hey, canister. You routed them, but at what cost? Friendly fire right into our own lines. The enemy for sure is going to keep charging this point. This salient is not pretty, so we're bringing up reserves. We'll have a second line come up here. But this spot here is exposed to the enemy on three sides. So we wrecked that one company, but they're just going to keep coming. Fuck, they didn't get their volley in. The 186 that came up should help. All right, so they're gonna get driven back. So they held. For now. A lot of their troops are pulling back. At least on the left. Maybe they're not pulling back. Maybe they're just trying to get around our flank. I'm not sure. I wonder if the new patch, I didn't look at the notes to see if they reworked artillery at all. That'd be interesting if they did. Be like, not so impervious to musketry fire would be nice. They're coming up on our right now as well. So this attack on the salient seems to have petered out. But now they've got boys coming in on our line here on the right. Interestingly enough, artillery seems to trigger friendly fire, but I don't know that muskets do quite to the same extent. I'm not sure why. Okay, those boys are routing. We need to send this company. The salient reserve is going to pull back to support this division, which has been driven off. They got more companies coming up over our flank. Fire into them, drive them back. Nice. Okay, so the 208 men there turned and fired on these men who just broke our lines. Oh, we've got another 200 men coming up. We're going to bring more reserves down here. You're in the cone of the butcher. All right. They're pushing on the left a little bit. Ammo starting to become a problem. Let's send some limited ammo we have over that way. Try and reduce your exposure a little bit by kneeling. Nice. Okay, boys. The threat is the flank, as always. And also just a general lack of ammunition. Oh, shit. One of my companies over here was pushed back. I've kind of got a reserve of 164 boys who can kind of move over here and plug the gap. All right, a little bit dicey there on the left for a second. I think these companies are just going to get themselves destroyed. I don't like just sitting and taking artillery fire, though. You can see the strength numbers are evening out a bit in our favor. Like, we're not stronger than them, but we're not as relatively weak. The problem in this game, as always, comes to what do you do if the enemy doesn't want to retreat and artillery's involved? There, we burned through one of our ammo wagons here. Fire into them, boys. Pour it into them. Yeah. All right, someone just got shattered. I think it was a Brit. All right, if these guys are really retreating, maybe we can work around their right flank. Got a bunch of small what are these guys doing? Are they really charging a group that much larger than them? Hey, how about you shoot at the boys literally 2 feet from you? Yeah. Who surrendered? Redcoats, you are my prisoners. Rear flanked. By who? Also, where are you boys running? Move back into this wood line. This left flank is shaky. Despite the fact that the numbers look very pretty in our favor. They seem shaky. Where are you shooting at? Oh, there's troops in the woods there you didn't see. All right, low ammo. We don't have a lot in any of these wagons. Move these guys forward. We'll move 2 wagons forward to support the ammo in the center. Give them a little bit more to play with. Where's this artillery going? Oh shit, they're setting up, aren't they? It's like, where are you going? You got the high ground. Oh, there's troops back there. Nope. Pull back. Someone has been shattered. Does it not show me where? I'm assuming it's a redcoat unit at this point. I don't see evidence of Continentals sprinting, but the ammo's gonna all be absorbed before you reach any of the infantry. The artillery is gonna suck it all up, which I guess pound for pound the artillery sure does fight better. These guys surrendered? Why? They're like in their own lines. I don't want to just sit here getting the enemy artillery pounding me, but I don't know what else to do. Alright, the enemy is weakening. We can see those red lines trending in our favor. Ammo's beginning to become a problem for a lot of our infantry. Guys, just route back this way. You got friendly troops over here. Dealing with that enemy artillery is going to be a problem. Just standing in the open, taking shell fire. My right flank is not going to hold versus this light infantry. Someone just surrendered. Not sure who. Maybe it was our captured men surrendered back to them. I'm not sure. All right, go give some more ammo to these wagons or this artillery. Use what little ammo you got left. You guys go man that ammo wagon that got routed earlier. I could use the ammo. Nice. All right. Go give some ammo to the artillery. What we can try and do is focus what little artillery we have left on the enemy guns to see if we can rout them that way. That seemed to work reasonably well in the last fight in the fort. Samuel Church has shattered. Alright, I do need the artillery to help hold the line, though. Our right flank is coming apart. But that's okay. Just turn around, boys, and shoot at them. Canister! Granted, they're light infantry, so maybe not as effective, but still. And I think they're gone. Hey, we captured them. Nice. They ran right into our lines and then we captured them. Good job, boys. All right. We're taking a lot of artillery damage. But it's a victory. They're retreating. Do we have the stamina to catch them? We can go melee the artillery when they're retreating. I assume that'll affect the... We're probably too far away before they get away. Maybe not. They're moving over open ground. Something's glitching with this artillery. Ready. Just shoot them. You got... that's not what I wanted. Yeah, it wasn't really what I wanted either. All right, please tell me you melee better than you used to. It looks like it. It looks like they're meleeing more effectively. It could just be because they have more ammo or more stamina. Hey, we captured those guns or those artillerymen. Go charge those boys. They abandoned their guns, and we destroyed them. Nice. Reload and destroy them. Pursuit phase. Little total war-y in the pursuit. I don't know what the situation really is going to be with a large British army landing at New York, the 6,000 troops that just landed in northern or in New England area-ish, and the, you know, expanded front and open flank that the new Canadian sections sort of created. But this victory is nice, and I think it was done at reasonable cost. That artillery of theirs hurt us, no doubt. All right, we shattered them too. Captured them. So I think that's about it. All right, let's go back to the global map. Let's see what happened here. We captured 202 British troops. They also lost 2,400 troops. So this was a bad day for the British Army. Remember, this was 3,400 troops out of the 6,500 in their landing in the north. So the main Continental Army under yours truly with 2,700 men and 13 guns, we lost about 1,000 of that. So just, you know, a little bit, well, basically 900 of 270 or 2,700. Basically, we lost a third of our army and a fourth of our guns. They lost 2,600 of 3,400 men, so they only had 800 men get out of there, a little less, and they only had 6 guns get out of there. So that is, I mean, that's an outcome. I don't really know how efficiency is measured in this game. These skirmishers have the highest skull count for efficiency. I'm assuming those are casualties inflicted? No. Maybe more casualties than lost. I don't really know. But I wish it told you. In any event, this battle on the June 21st, it is not 1775 anymore. 1776 of August 14th. So maybe this is just I never looked at that before. But pretty considerable victory there. Hopefully it saves a couple of forts in the interior as they retreat east toward their new capture. But yeah, so we just shattered this force. I mean, look at what's left. Like, oh man, we might even be able to wipe them out. So Byron just lost half of his landing force, but they still have 10,000 other soldiers, 13,000 other soldiers between Frank, George, Halifax, Falmouth, and whatever they're moving in toward Lyman. So it is not a good situation up there. Meanwhile, the British are landing considerable forces in New York, or we've been told they will be. We've got a handful of scattered garrisons around there, which will probably get under our unit cap when they swallow those up. But I'm largely inclined to leave them in place to at least act as a brake on the British. Do we have the stamina to charge in there? I want to try and destroy what's left here if we can force a melee in here. Maybe we can force this enemy army to surrender. And he's trying to send reinforcements up. So we didn't get him to surrender. Also, now I have new traits. Willpower, firearms, melee. Willpower, please. And ammo, please. All right, so maybe the enemy's going to move a scattered force west to deal with us. If they want to send 700 troops or so with no real organization west to deal with me, I would welcome that. Meanwhile, we do know there's a battle being fought up near in the woods near Lyman that I pretty much have no chance to win, but maybe this victory will cause them to pull some of their troops south. Hey, McNutt, don't pursue them. You can't catch them. Where are they going? Confiscation of cargo. Rhode Island's loyal. I need the money. Encounter at Roanoke Inlet, North Carolina. Independent militia company discovered a British foraging party near Roanoke and captured it. I'll take provisions. 6,400 Hessian German mercenary troops hired by the British are setting sail to New York. Great. So they're going to have 12,000 troops there now. All right, so we've got 13,000 troops. Where are they? Like, why are they all streaming to the interior of... I don't understand it. Where do they think they're going? They're streaming to the interior of what? I don't know if this is an AI thing or what. Like, they obviously have manpower advantages here that they're triggering to like move on. And my own forces are somewhat dispersed, but still, like, you're going to just move in toward level because it's unoccupied, even though... What? Anyway, so they've got 2,400 troops more down here. And another 700 here. We can try... Oh, actually, they got reinforcements coming up here. So these 400 plus 900. We've got reinforcements here. So, I mean, our troops are going to be bled white in an effort to stem the advance. That was a pretty considerable victory we just won, but I don't know. I don't know if it makes sense to keep fighting these. I don't even know that our ammunition would support it. We've burned through most of it, or a big chunk of it. Boston is a nice little recruiting house. We got a nice 500-man infantry regiment here under Isaac Evans that has been strengthening itself. And they are ashore in New York. Dear God. Dear God, they are here. Look at all those boys. They're going to overrun the 180 men. Remember, we were given event options toward the end of the campaign previously where it's like, prepare your defenses in New York. Give us $10,000. Prepare your defenses in New York. Give us 1,000 muskets. So one would assume if we at the time had the resources to do that, that we might have a much stronger force in the South to deal with the enemy. Alas, we do not. So New York is likely to fall. Is Philadelphia even in this? I don't see Philadelphia. So there's not going to be the historic march on Philadelphia afterwards. But I really think the AI is being triggered off lack of garrisons internally, because you'd think losing half their landing force would matter to them. The AI was very passive before. Now it seems maybe not passive enough. In any event, that's going to do it for today's video. We've been going for almost an hour. A nice little victory there. We'll have to see how the invasion of New York plays out going forward and how the defense in the north against these considerable British forces plays out as well. But until then, and it looks like Arnold is up toward Quebec, so he'll be able to start replacing his losses in these regiments and maybe bring 1,000 men into northern New York to help. But alas, that is that for today's video. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. Please leave your thoughts below. Let me know if you want to keep seeing more of this. And as always, until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.